Do we have a timeline on when you think the committee will see the applications?
I'm hopeful Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
September 18th.
Jesse, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes. Okay. I logged in and then it kicked me out, but I'm back again.
Don't know what happened there, but we got you.
All right.
Yes.
What are you guys having for lunch today?
Just Jason's Deli. We had an issue with the Arts Council credit card, so city's funding the bill today.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry to miss you guys and lunch.
Well,
Just sitting on top of that clock.
hello.
Hello.
Feel free to sit wherever. I just spread things out.
I like the sticker.
Thank you. We are very happy with it as well.
It's chilly in here.
Yes.
Well, hell, I didn't recognize you not being on screen.
I've missed up the last two.
Yeah, that's all right.
Unacceptable.
I mean, I was drawing up this paperwork. So.
Yeah.
I don't think Nadine would want the job though, so we're probably safe. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. I apologize. Forgot that.
Sure. Lunch is on the plate. It's always a mystery when it's gonna arrive. Oh, thank you.
So did anyone say they were not going to be able to make it, Jesse?
We have two people who will be virtual. Allison is already here and virtual, and Nadine will be joining us virtually as well. But otherwise, no, I haven't heard if anyone can't make it.
And we'll go ahead and get us started. Doors.
Thank you, Dominic.
And before we get on to official business, we do have a sad note. You saw Jesse's email that Jerry's no longer with us. We all knew his health was deteriorating over the last year or so. But we do want to take a moment, at least for the record, to at least let people speak here to recognize all the services he's done to the arts in Wichita, primarily through his work with the Cultural Funding Committee. So if anyone would like to say it.
I did not see the note. I am really sorry to hear this.
Yes, his funeral is tomorrow.
Yeah, Rosary night, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Okay. Was it with the guideline? Jesse, I have a message here about the guidelines, and I have a message about the link for the meeting today. Was it a separate?
It was an email that I sent out yesterday, late morning, maybe. I apologize if it didn't make it to you. I believe
that's okay. I just I'm really sorry to hear this. Okay, if you could forward it to me, Jesse, just so I'm going to be out of town tomorrow, but just so I have the information. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone has anything that they'd like to say.
Well, sorry, I'm getting this person, so somebody else is welcome.
Then I'll start. I came onto this committee right during COVID. Jerry was here. Jerry made my transition onto this very, very easy. I was impressed in how supportive he was for the arts, with that not being one of his personal cares. I know his daughter did a lot with Wichita Children's Theater, and his willingness to volunteer and be a part of this. When Joe Miller received his award from the Arts Council, Jerry was one of the people there that went and supported his friend for his contributions to our local arts. So I knew Jerry's outside of here as well. He volunteered with my father-in-law at the Our Daily Bread. He would often ask me about my daughter, how my daughter was doing, ask about Jackie. So, I mean, I'll miss him. He was great to have on here. He was helpful. He cared greatly for the performing arts, particularly those that were targeted towards children.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with him a lot when I was 10 years of downtown development, and he was on the board and sat on the subcommittees that I chaired. And so consequently out of that, when Brian, his son, moved back to town, he got a hold of me and said, hey, Brian's a film major, how can I get him involved in Tallgrass? And so I made sure that we found a place for Brian, and he was with them for, gosh, better part of 10 years at least, if not longer. And really contributed in a great way. And it was one of the things I always loved about Jerry was seeing he and his wife during the festival. They were always at Tallgrass. They were going to as many films as they could possibly pack into a day. And he just loved it. They both did, but yeah, he was a supporter in his heart.
I'll just add that he was our longest current serving member on the committee. When Jesse and I came on with the city, we had a lot of long-term committee members. We did reach out to Joe and Dan Rouser and Beth Oaks and some former committee members who definitely served alongside him. His term would have ended at the end of this calendar year, so this would have been his last grant cycle, but he was one that we could always rely on to have read every single word in every single application. And would just pick up the most unique detail that you're like, how did you even just remember that? So he's sharp up until the end, but he'll be greatly missed. His institutional knowledge is going to be hard for us to fill.
The one thing about Jerry that I feel like sharing is that I don't think it's offensive to say Jerry was the oldest member of our committee, right? But whenever we would go over scoring or any massive Excel sheet that's projected really tiny over here, Jerry was always as far away as possible. And I was like, you gotta help me out, man. I can only make this so big.
He didn't ask you to make it bigger.
No, he
never
didn't.
the one.
Yeah, he just way in the back, like the cool kid. I was just always like, all right, can't help you.
Yeah,
It was fun.
you'll be missed.
I always thought that he did such a wonderful job of analyzing all of the details and asking great, really thought-provoking questions, and not afraid to challenge what others in the room were saying. So I appreciate learning that from him. So valuable committee member.
Did he serve on the Arts Council? Or were the
No.
Yeah, it was just the CFC. Okay.
He was a long time, I don't know if he was ever on the board of the Great Plains Nature Center, but a long time volunteer. So I don't think I've ever been there when he wasn't there in some capacity working in the gift shop or some dessert center. I know Art on the Trails, he was always working under the tent and he's very passionate about that facility. And reading his obituary, no idea he was doing all this other community service. And I obviously know him from the arts, but not surprised to know he had this whole athletic basketball background. And so very involved in the community.
Okay. Then we'll move on to the business of the day. It has been, we have a forum now, online.
Oh yeah, we're good.
And Nadine is with us.
Okay.
Yeah, Allison and
sends
Nadine.
heart to the group.
So we've had, obviously with summer and people moving around, fewer people here. Jesse has now sent the April minutes out probably multiple times.
I apologize, it's
May.
they're the May minutes,
Okay.
they are corrected in the page in front of you.
So we've been kind of sparse here. Hopefully everyone had a chance to look those over. I'd be open for a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Move to approve.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. Motion passes, minutes approved. One of the emails Jesse did send out was about the activation grant opportunity. I will let you go through that, Jesse.
I just want to very briefly update the group on our applicants for the 2026 operational grant opportunity. I haven't had time yet to read through all of them to make sure that they can all move forward onto the committee, but at this time we are sitting at 34 applicants total. That is down slightly from last year. Let me grab you a list really quick of who we're missing. Obviously, we're missing the Great Plains Nature Center and the Wichita Public Library Foundation because we removed them from eligibility. But we're Music on Site, Raíces de Mi Tierra, the TAC Flute Foundation, Wichita Asian Association, Wichita Blues Society, and the Wichita Fine Arts Atelier. They did not apply this year. Those are all very small organizations. My assumption is that they were simply unable to get everything together in the time frame. But together that was roughly about $10,000 of what we gave out this year. New applicants this year.
I can just add real quick that we will definitely be reaching out to those applicants or former applicants about this new activation grant opportunity to hopefully get them, encourage them to apply for this.
Right. There on the end, if you would, thank you. New potential applicants for this year, I still have to confirm that they are good to go. Include the Great Plains Transportation Museum. Mulberry Art Gallery is back. And the Wichita, Kansas Intertribal Warrior Society submitted a grant application.
If you remember, they did apply for the flag grant. The second application with us.
So that's just a very brief update. I'm going to get through those as quickly as possible. Lindsay and I will give them thumbs up, and then we will get them to you guys to start reviewing. We're happy to take a
Yeah, take a break. We'll take a brief break before we move on to the reviewing the new grant program guidelines. So everyone grab something to eat.
Pretty good. Welcome.
Okay.
We haven't hit the meat of lunch or the meat of the meeting.
Every single thought, maybe. Just you've been sick.
Whatever happened, I caught something at the conference, or my exhaustion from the conference helped me catch something. I can't kick it. Yeah. So it's just lame. Of course, I bought some Sudafed yesterday, but apparently it's the less effective version.
Oh, yeah, you gotta get that.
You gotta get the behind the counter version now. Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse, I had that summer cold thing, and I went because I went and got tested for COVID and flu and strep and all the things, and I ended up taking NyQuil at night and Mucinex D, which is the behind the counter.
Sure.
And that was a good combo. Just saying.
I will look into it. Thank you.
It's no fun to be sick in the summertime.
No. Obviously, given recent news, we are down a member, but we do have, I believe, everyone, which is nice.
I feel like I'm sitting on top of the book.
So will his position be replaced?
And then we still have Andres, right?
Right, we are reaching out about both positions. Hopefully sooner than later, so we can onboard them in time to be useful for the operational grants, but we will see how it goes.
I will say we only have one application on file with the clerk's office, so if anyone has any recommendations.
Yeah, what districts are we?
6 and 1, so Councilmember Ballard and
Johnson.
Councilmember Johnson, like the Riverside area and College Hill, WSU area.
Thank you for your patience, Allison and Nadine. Sorry you
Of course.
can't.
Enjoy.
Not that I recall. I might have missed one.
Good, busy or quiet?
I see.
A little bit of both. Okay.
A little bit of both, how about you?
Good, yeah. I haven't done off with my boys who are starting kindergarten and second grade.
Yeah.
And I'm like counting down the days until they go to school. Like I try to be like one of those parents. I'm like, oh, mom, this
We're
time
gonna do
together.
activity.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're gonna do workbooks in the summer. We're gonna do summer learning.
We're gonna go to Lowe's and build little cars out of wood, it should be so
Oh my
pretty.
God, it was like survival every day with those two. We did a lot of swim though, a lot of swim lessons, swimming,
Went for work tomorrow, yeah.
Yes, exactly. T-ball, baseball, yes, so, no, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to teach again.
Oh, Martha, don't use that one. Or I dropped that one on my board. Okay.
What's done is done.
Yeah.
Germs are good, right?
What's done
I
is-
didn't touch any of the pickles except for the ones I put on my plate, and I'm okay with floor. I'm great.
I know.
I'm allowed. I have one pickle. They say it's a gateway thing.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. So what do they have you teaching now? Just,
I'm teaching public speaking.
oh,
I
nice.
teach a in-person section and then an online section too.
Okay.
I have friends. Okay. Yeah. I need to go. I was at Butler for 8 years, but now I'm just with friends.
There's homework involved when you go to school, right?
That's right.
When does the semester start?
This is where it starts.
I started out the 18th.
Oh, there goes that
Yeah,
bastion
August
again.
18th, yeah.
I'm gonna have a pickle.
Oh my God, it's happening.
Yeah,
Oh, no.
he's gonna grab the whole bag of chips next.
Just keep that to yourself.
I will cut this whole section out of the recording, it's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh.
Blur you if you pop up.
All right. Well, Jim eats his pickles, we will move on to reviewing
It does not need to go
the
in
new
there.
grant program. Lindsay and Jesse, so we have what, 9 pages to review that you sent out.
Yeah, we tried to be thorough, was the thing. So we did go over this a bit last month, and we've been discussing this project for a few months now. But this is the latest version of what we are, once again, calling the activation grant opportunity. To very briefly remind you, individuals and organizations can both apply, and both options can apply for programmatic funding, project-based funding, or capacity building funding. So it does do what the old Developing Arts Grant used to do, what the Arts Access Grant does. It just also does art as well now. So on the rest of this first page, we sort of give some examples of what can and cannot be funded. We're always open to feedback on that, but we think this is a pretty good list. The real discussion points, I think, start on the second page under eligibility. So, like I said to Lindsay, I think yesterday, that the eligibility for this grant has been a little all over the place as we've been developing it, what it's gonna look like, who it's gonna be for. Right now, it's built under the idea that if you receive funding from the city of Wichita, if you receive a grant, or if you're a cultural institution, you're not eligible. If you receive operational funding, you don't get activation grant funding. And that's to really continue to spread the wealth to all of our organizations, especially some of these smaller ones that didn't apply for operational grants, the ones that we have removed from the operational grant program, and perhaps to eventually get things like Riverfest or other one-time events into this program. Let me see. To make sure that Friends of the Great Plains Nature Center and the Wichita Public Library Foundation can apply, that second bullet point says support organizations are eligible, and individuals are only ineligible if they're employed on a full-time basis by the city of Wichita. And I'll get rid of that parentheses.
Yeah, no problem.
If I can just touch on something Jesse and I were discussing earlier today, was if an individual artist needed to be a resident of the city of Wichita, and I think we landed similar to where we were with the artist access grant previously, as long as they could justify that their project served or their artistry served the residents of Wichita, that would cover their bases. So under project specifics, I think in that first kind of paragraph around all funding must be used towards a project that serves the residents of Wichita, and that's throughout the application narratives as well. As long as they can make a good case for it, we don't need necessarily for them to show proof of residency. Of course, if the committee would like us to do something different, all ears on that, but that's where staff landed.
And then we have, much like with the artist access grant, we have a small delay. If you do get one of the two kinds of fundings, you need to wait to be able to apply again. Project specifics aren't very much different from what we previously discussed. Like Lindsay said, serve the residents. We'd like, much like with the Arts Thrive grant, we'd like it to be in alignment with the Cultural Arts Strategic Plan. We discussed funding request limits last time, and we set the minimum to 500. The maximum is currently set at 10,000. Again, we don't necessarily believe that you guys will give out a lot of $10,000 grants, but we want you to have the option if there is a particularly good proposal.
And as a reminder, we're kind of ballparking that there might be $50,000 available for this section of grant. Obviously, this is, once we know the number from finance that we're working with, the committee will set aside whatever funding they feel is appropriate. But we've kind of been ballparking the $50,000 mark.
Much like the Arts Thrive grant, you don't have to add funds to this project. This can be solely funded by our grant. It's up to you guys if you'd prefer to see projects that have multiple sources of funding, but it is not a requirement. And then utilizing a for-profit partner. If you want, you can, I'll just jump to the terms and conditions, which say, if any portion of the award is subcontracted to other organizations for the delivery of objectives and criteria, the primary applicant will ensure that the fiscal and accomplishment records of the subcontractor, this is at the bottom of page 7, will be available for inspection by the city or its duly authorized auditors. So we're leaving the option open, but we also want to make sure that there's paperwork available. But again, we are making sure that the nonprofit, the individual or nonprofit that decides to bring on a for-profit partner is absorbing that risk as best as we can.
Is that the same with a foundation that may offer grants? Like if we're giving a grant to a foundation that gives a grant?
So we have that, later on, we do have that re-granting is not one of the allowable costs. So we will probably be avoiding that specific situation.
And similarly, under like the foundation category, it can be used for direct fundraising. So, because that could potentially be a capacity building project if it's about fundraising, but that's not really our intent here. I don't think it is.
Do we have that language?
On the last page, on page 8, there's kind of a handful of bullet points of what it can't be, funding can't be used for: lobbying, alcohol, direct fundraising, pre-granting, construction, capital expenditures over 5,000, debt reduction, et cetera. That's kind of us pulling from other like-minded public funders.
So if we think about the Orpheum and their reconstruction, would we consider them if they apply for, you know, construction capital expenditures under 5,000?
Maybe, if they needed a particular thing.
Specific for this.
Well, I mean, but you know, if there was one thing that would help them increase their capacity, then it costs $4,000. I think that it would be up to the committee whether or not to decide to fund that. We wouldn't eliminate them outright for that proposal, but it would come down to scoring and deliberation.
And they historically are in the operational grant category, so it's likely that they would be funded there, which would make them ineligible for this. But it's a great example.
The calendar hasn't changed. One thing that Lindsay and I did discuss was that on September 25th, we have our, and I haven't yet moved that September 18th date, I need to do that. On September 25th, we have our deliberations for the operational grants. So on that date, we'll basically know if a particular organization is not receiving an operational grant, and if that is the case, we will notify those organizations that they should consider applying for one of these grants. Hopefully in future years, we have the calendar set up such that there isn't that overlap, but for this year it is what it is, and so we'll just be doing some notifications if necessary.
Do you think you have enough time to contact all the winners between the 15th and the end of the year?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I don't think that will be a problem at all.
The contracting might be a little bit delayed, but
Okay.
initial notification.
Just with the holiday and people moving and coming and going, just want to make sure. Okay.
They'll be, I mean, you know, they will be fully aware of the date, so hopefully they will be keeping an eye on it as well. And helping to make sure, like if they need that funding sooner than later.
Yeah. And I would hope they'd go to council to see what approved or not. Okay.
Very briefly, well, not briefly, but going into the application, this is a lot, but it is, you have to imagine that this is 4 applications in one, so people will be seeing much less than you're seeing. So we just have at the top, just some directory info, some info for our own tracking in terms of emerging and mid-career artists. Then we are going to ask individual artists for resumes for you guys to review, and mission statements for organizations. Then on both versions of the application, we do ask them to confirm that their project or their art / their organization serves the residents of Wichita. And then both applications ask how your project connects to the Cultural Arts Strategic Plan. Much like the Arts Thrive Grant, they will have an opportunity to select from a list, or they can add their own. We do ask right after that for them to expand on that, about how that does so. What is the connection between what they've selected and their project? Ask them both types of their project. We have different sample questions for each. For the programmatic funding, we ask them about their timeline, about how they're going to, what their experience is doing this, and potentially connecting with the local community, things like that. Then in both, we ask about the funding, how they're going to use it, and there will be an opportunity to write their budget in, upload a budget, or describe their budget. And then the same sort of tiebreaker question, why do you feel your project should be selected? And then just a couple upload options on each. So it is very much, it's very similar to the Arts Thrive grant. I didn't think that a timeline question was necessarily totally appropriate for the capacity building side of things, so I left that off. But it should still be a relatively easy application to fill out, and will just require some explanation.
And we are removing the video option that we had.
We have removed the video option.
Yeah. We only had a handful that did that anyways,
We
right?
only had, not many people took advantage of that, and, yeah,
I'm glad you tried it, we tried it, but.
Yeah.
we tried it, you know, maybe someday it comes back, but it's not coming back now.
I'm not sad about that.
So, selection, this is just talking about why, what projects will move on to the committee. If you're not ineligible, if you have demonstrate alignment and your budget is clear, staff will move the application onto the committee, who will then make a recommendation to city council, who will then finalize those approvals. The rubric is cut down quite a bit. It's just 3 scales, 0 to 5 questions. First one is about alignment. The second one is just an overall score of your feelings of their proposed project. And then the third question references their timeline and budget. And those are weighted a little bit, just to put the onus on, let's find the really good projects. And then,
Notes.
say again?
Can we leave notes?
I will make sure this time to leave an option for notes. Yes. And if I don't, please tell me and I can throw that in easily. And then you guys will decide which projects, if any, earn funding, that you'll do so based on the score and the ensuing discussion, that we'd love to see projects of varied medium and scope, so it might not be that every top scoring application gets funded. If we have 6 murals again, we probably won't fund 6 murals, right? So just about making sure you guys have the freedom to choose. And then we will be working with them throughout the year to make sure everything goes well. We have some final report questions that we're developing that may include but are not limited to. And a lot of these are sort of based on the Artist Access final report or the Arts Thrive final report, depending on the type of funding. And then again, we get down to terms and conditions, which, you know, lobbying, we don't want them bothering you guys. The time between applications is a thing again. And then, like Lindsay has gone over on the back of page 8, making sure they are a little bit more aware of what City of Wichita funding can and cannot be used for. So it's, again, just trying to be as thorough as possible. But one thing that Lindsay and I have said to each other throughout developing this is that this is year 1, and if something doesn't work, we can always change it or fix it or move it. But we are absolutely open to discussion about any aspect of it, except for the name.
Yeah.
It's a great name. The name, similar to Arts Thrive, is pulled from our mission statement, so it's just another interpretation of it. Activating and strengthening
one thing I was wondering about, and we talked about this a little bit here a minute ago in terms of, we can't know for sure how much funding we'll have available to allocate through this until we have like the firm budget numbers and all that jazz. But I'm wondering if there's some way we can speak to like what we hope or what we anticipate might be available. I just think from a grant, like a grant seeking perspective, if I know an opportunity is going to have 2 grants or up to this particular amount available versus 30 grants and this amount available and or this amount available up to allocate, like it would just help me decide better if I'm going to go after that funding opportunity or not. Anyway, like, again, I know that's a real squishy number. Maybe we can just say, like, in the past, we've had this amount to allocate and we're hoping to hit that type of number. I just think that's a useful piece of information to provide to grant seekers to the extent that we're able.
What was our final number last year?
510.
510. And we realistically, rough, hopeful guesstimate for this year.
We're at maybe 550.
All right.
The number we got from finance yesterday is 8.7% increase. But
We're a little
that's the
hesitant.
estimate.
Yes.
Yeah, we will graciously accept that number, but also maybe we cautiously budget lower.
But to remind you all that the reason we sort of got 250 was that the two organizations that we removed, plus the 15,000 that we set aside for artist access, was close enough to 50 that we felt we could round up. So I'm happy to go either way on that.
I don't know, I hesitate to put a number like that in the scope, because I don't know, you never know what people's expectations are, so then if you give them an expectation, what arbitrary kind of line are you drawing? Or is it, they can always ask you, right? Like, that's public information.
It's true.
If they want to know, they can ask that. I don't know, I worry that we may not see what kind of effect that has if we have that number in there.
Nadine, any other feelings on the topic?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in agreement with what Hannah just said in terms of, like, we don't want to put a firm number in there, but I guess I was hoping that, like, some historical information of, like, what we've allocated in the past, because I know this is a new process. Oh, I don't know. I just think some kind of, like, helping people understand the scope of this would be useful. And I understand that that's complicated at this point in time. So if we don't, like, there's a way we can do it, then there's not a way we can do it.
Is it, Nadine, it's Allison, is it the budget number that you think would be interesting to them, or just the number of projects funded in prior years as a reference? Like, I'm wondering if maybe just if they understood historically this is how many projects have been funded, that might be more telling to them than the total budget amount.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different ways. Those are two good examples of how we could qualify it. Like, any way we could be creative in describing that. And again, like, I know that we're kind of playing with a new format here, so we don't necessarily have, like, an apples to apples comparison in terms of how many projects have been funded, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's useful information for grant seekers to have when they're considering going after a grant. Like, do you have $1,000 here for me to go after? Or do you have, well, I guess we're offering up to 10. Like, so is it up to 10 or is it up to 100? Like, just what am I working with here? I know we have the eligibility, like, you can apply for up to 10,000 and not less than 5. So again, like, I get that this is a little bit messier of in terms of not having that historical clarity, but I think, if we want to say, like, artist access in the past has offered, we funded this many. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, often that's in an RFP too, when you're looking for opportunities. So,
do we somewhere else advertise what our total funding available is, the 510 or whatever you said a minute ago? I mean,
No.
that hasn't prohibited all the other culture funding applicants from
No, I mean, it is
applying.
public information in our budget book, but
Is it on the website, like the list of people or, organizations that were awarded?
yes, there's a full listing and the amount of fees received for the current year.
I think that information is out there. And especially since this is the first year that it's in this format and we're combining two other grant opportunities that have, been fluid kind of in the last couple of years. I don't know that we even have historical data
Yeah,
But if they wanna know, how many people were funded last year, that's on the website. But if they wanna know kind of the average award amount, that's also on the website.
no, I'm with you. I think at this point, it's very fluid. If you look at the Arts Access grants we've done in the past, prior to the last 2 years, we were maybe giving 1, 2, yeah. The developing arts, maybe we gave 1 away every year, but it wasn't anything particular. If we choose to go down the path of saying we want to set aside a set amount of money, maybe after this pass, we look at saying, okay, of the amount of our pot of money, maybe we take a percentage out of that, so at least we have some, because since I've been doing this, our number has changed from the time we hear it. So it'll be the 18th, we'll get a loose number, and then we've had more money by the time you've gone to council, and then less money other years. So it's hard at this point. I mean, the good news is we would 100% know how much money we have to give away to this project by the time we get done with the operational grants. So.
I agree.
And
Can we say that? Like, speak to that somehow, like this is a fluid grant-making process unlike other requests for funding opportunities? And
Yeah.
we're unsure at this point in time, like how many grants we might be able to make.
What's that?
I just think there's value in that.
Because we're pretty generous on the number of grants we give out. It's that same conversation we're gonna have every year of how deep we want to go and how many we want to touch. Because we can choose to make great impact on organizations and give away 5 grants at $10,000 a piece here, or we can go wide. I mean, that's the great thing that we have when we see the need in our community. This committee is able to be flexible enough, especially with the plan that we have now, to adjust the needs that we see are out there.
Do we have language like that in the operation grant that says, our pool of funds comes from an undeterminable portion of the city's budget?
We don't.
Because I think if we're
Roughly.
talking about adding that language
we
in
don't.
here, it would only make sense, I think, if we are already comfortable with that language in
Because we don't have considered like how much of a mill we get out of it or percentage of it.
we don't have that language listed.
But do we know where we are in the budget in theory?
Yes.
Okay.
But the applications are available on the section of the city's website that has that historical information,
I don't
correct?
know that we list like the funding source. Look.
And I guess, how important is that to applicants? You say that it might be helpful if you're like, how much should I put in, how much effort should I give to this? But is that really a huge factor that we should be weighing smoothly on it?
I mean, it is a good discussion point.
I'm just not on that side, so I don't
Yeah.
know if it's helpful or not.
I brought it up because in my experience, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's good to know.
I will just say that anticipated applicant for this grant is the smaller organizations who maybe this is going to be their first time applying, or those that we named earlier to apply for the second time, except for Great Plains Nature Center and Library Foundation, who we are in regular communication with already. So I don't anticipate any major foundations we haven't heard of before coming into the fold, although they might present themselves. And just real quick, we don't have anything on our website, but making a note to try to figure out how to add that in with funding source and how that funding source works. Because that is interesting information for the public to know.
I'm more than willing to try to wordsmith something and then send it out to the committee and see. Because that's something that can be added easily over the next month. We're not planning to open these until early September.
Can I ask if it would be appropriate to just say we estimate there would to be approximately $50,000 available for this grant fund?
Yeah, that's fair. Because we gave it, how much did we give in operational grants last year?
$495.
Okay, so it'd be 50, yeah. based on what we have right now, I think that's
Can
fair.
we just list it as an estimate?
Mhm.
And similar to what we did with Artist Access a couple of years ago, if we don't exhaust all the funding in the first round, we can offer a second round.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, we can.
We could,
Yeah.
so we'll make sure the funding gets spent. Would everyone be okay with that? Is the $50,000 number comfortable? You don't want
I'm
to
a
list
little
anything?
hesitant.
I mean, up to, I think we're fine saying up to. I mean, I think we do need to decide how much we want to set aside for. Typically, we do it that morning before we do the Q&As, which is good. But at least we know if we have fewer applicants, if we give the same level of spending as we have, we're probably going to be about that $500,000 threshold based on the number of applicants we currently have in there. If everyone stays in and meets the criteria. On a positive side, there have been some organizations that scored really high that we've given less money than we'd like to, just because we didn't have it available. I don't know what I'm saying, but I'm okay having up to $50,000 at the end of it. Because what did we put aside 2 years ago for Artist Access? Was it 20? And
20.
And we burned through that. We used the extra money we got.
And last year was 15.
Mhm. So I feel we can meet both needs.
Okay.
And Jesse is a master wordsmither, so I totally believe in his capacity to make his magic happen. And like, Lindsay, I love what you said earlier about like where this funding is coming from, and maybe even just leading in with that. Like, this is kind of a different type of process that's, like I said earlier, different from other RFPs. It's based on this public mill levy funding, and we can't be sure what the amount's going to be until later in the process. But to be as transparent as possible, we are hoping to allocate up to $50,000, like Dominic was saying here a second ago, if folks feel comfortable with that. And I'm totally open to other wording or scrapping it. But I feel like that would, again, I feel like that'd be useful.
I'm on board.
Are you eyeing her down, Jim?
No. Hannah's usually right about stuff.
I don't know about that.
Any other discussion on the, what's the fantastic name we have for this? If I get the name right.
The activation grant.
The activation grant.
Back to the calendar,
Yeah,
are those good dates, the 16th and 18th?
no,
Okay, that's what I thought.
yeah, yes. I very briefly mentioned going through it today that I need to at least fix the 18th. Might be the 16th and the 23rd.
Looking under project specifics and that for-profit partner,
Mm-hmm.
can you give an example of something in the past that's worked in that respect, or?
STEM music.
Yeah, STEM music.
Arts Partners is the lead applicant. STEM Music was the partner to present it.
Okay.
And I don't believe the STEM Music is its own separate business with its sole proprietor being one. So I think that's how that could fit in.
But it also may not work. And we may decide, you all may decide not to fund anybody that lists a for-profit partner. And we remove it the next year.
No, we've discussed like site visits from staff and this committee. Could this be a nice avenue to explore those opportunities for the activation?
I think so. Just to check in.
Yeah.
Absolutely, especially for these smaller organizations that we need to get to know better.
What else are we missing?
How does, like, site visits, would that create a conflict of interest with our terms about lobbying, no lobbying?
This, don't lobby in the process, once you get the grant.
Okay. Okay.
So site visit would be after they are awarded.
So at some point during the grant period next year.
Yeah, because it's like, if I remember our discussion at one point, is that accountability aspect of it, to meet with the organizations.
Okay, that makes sense. Can I ask about the reporting, like the post-funding reporting, and will the committee be involved in reviewing those reports at all, or is this just pretty, like, once they're,
We would very much like the committees to start to be more involved in looking at annual reports or final reports.
I would like to.
It has not yet happened, but we are starting to really standardize those. And we think that moving forward, that will be a thing. If not the whole committee, then certainly a subcommittee of the committee. But yes, I think Lindsay's goal especially is for the committee to be much more involved in reviewing those reports.
I might even just say we could break it down by tier. So cultural institution in particular is an area where we would really love to have additional pairs of eyes. And that's with the changes that we're making this year, having that pipeline now available to where organizations can go up or they can go down. Now we're in a position where we can truly give an assessment, and if there are red flags, then we could address them. Because right now, institutions just report to us, but we have no checks and balances on those reports. I mean, if there's a huge mismanagement opportunity, we can step in, but for a programmatic standpoint, it would be really helpful to have more of a dialogue. That's not just staff's perspective, but having a committee perspective. But also, we don't want to burn you out. So to the subcommittee standpoint, similar to site visits, like we know that this committee does a lot of heavy lifting. So figuring out the right amount of workload is part of it too.
What else? As always, fantastic work, Jesse. I like the actual questions to think about. They have it down there. Whether our applicants follow those or take that advice, but it is nice to have. When should we expect to clear our calendar to start reviewing operational grants?
The goal is to hopefully have them to you, I would say Tuesday of next week.
No.
Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, they don't take,
Okay.
I mean, I don't have to read them with the depth that you all do. I just check that they are in compliance.
How many have you received so far?
They are closed, and so we received 34, which is slightly fewer than last year.
Easy.
Last year was a lot.
How many did we have last? How many was that?
There was like
39 last year.
Oh, yeah, I saw.
So I said slightly.
Yeah, somebody had the artifact.
Yeah.
The artist access had a lot. I mean, you guys you had operational grants into arts access, into Arts Thrive, into artist access.
Oh, yeah.
It was a slog.
One of them was a killer.
Yeah.
One of them was a killer.
And we appreciate it so much. Thank you for keeping,
Yeah.
thank you for coming back for more.
These are hopefully, you've done these a few years in a row now, most of you, these should be pretty straightforward for you.
I think the process is a lot easier now with the online.
And for a lot of these hopefully will be the last one you have to read for several years. Because we're starting to do multi-year or infinite contracts.
Yeah.
That is so awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I kind of that works.
Yeah.
Really thinking about that. So just to recap, Jesse hopes to have them to you by next Tuesday,
Wednesday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm off
middle of
Monday.
next week. And then how long do they have to review?
Till September 18th.
Okay.
Ideally well before that though.
Till September 18th, which is our Q&A, which I will get scheduled.
And Jesse can see who is working on them and who hasn't opened them at all yet. So we will know who waits
Do
till
not
last.
check.
Yes,
Do
he
not
lets
check
us
that.
know.
Please
He
don't
lets
call
us
you out.
know.
So on the Q&A, we're still thinking one day to get them all through, or at one point we talked about 2 half days, 1 day. I'm fine with the 1 long day if the group is, or we could look at the other opportunities, or whatever staff recommends or suggests. I'm open to whatever.
Well, it would be about 8.5 hours for 15-minute slots. But I believe at one point we talked about maybe doing different sized slots for organizations that we are more comfortable with. I don't know how we're feeling about that, or if we want to go down to 10-minute things where it's really 8 minutes and 2 minutes of changeover. What?
Does that 8.5 hours include a lunch break?
No.
Jim doesn't eat lunch.
It's
Yeah.
like a 10-hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I'm doing anyway. With taxes.
Yeah. We can, we
Yeah, that's
can,
what, 33.
I liked
would need-
getting it all done in one day.
Yeah.
okay,
I don't know, it's a long day, but
I can divide an hour up into 5, pretty easily. So I think we could do 10 minutes and then roughly 2 minutes of changeover. And so that should get us an easier, that's 7 hours, so plus lunch, 8-hour day, it's a little bit better.
Sounds great.
It's gonna be more than 8 hours, just by
Yeah.
the time we talk afterwards, get that right in, clear from staff, so. But it'll be 8 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think easy, like, from a personal, scheduling my out of office at work, one day is easier.
Yes.
Yes, it's unfortunately, it will be a full day.
And this is for the Q&A that you're discussing, not the deliberations.
No,
Deliberations have been 5 to 7 hours lately.
Did we go that long last time?
We were done by 1.
yeah, we've been,
We've been pretty good lately, but they've been in that range. I mean, we had a long one years ago.
they have been going very well
Mhm.
lately. Okay, well, I will get that stuff scheduled and to you. Does anybody, would the first one being at 8 AM be a problem?
Are we talking about 9:18?
Yes.
I'll be unavailable.
will coffee be provided?
Yes, coffee will be provided.
What day of the week is 9/18?
It's a Thursday.
Thursday.
I'm questionable if I'm available on that day. I haven't finalized some business travel plans. And I'm not available on the 16th, I know that.
Do we have it down
What was
that's for the Q&A, Jesse?
Yeah,
Okay.
So that's already been.
What was
It's
the date
been-
again, Jesse? Sorry.
for a few months. September 18th, it's a Thursday.
Yeah. I know we
I have
have.
a WAM thing on my calendar that evening, but it says it's at 5. I don't know if it really starts at 5.
We should hope.
probably
Be close to having you out by 5.
Yeah.
done. Okay.
So Naomi's unavailable, Martha's TBD.
I have it on my calendar though.
Yeah, I have it on my calendar.
Jim, were you TBD?
No, I think I'm okay. I just have to miss chapel, which is like every other week.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be at the Mid-America Online News Fair again?
Quite likely, just because it's easy.
Seemed to have worked.
Yeah.
I'll
So we'll bring
some.
our purpose.
Thanks for the reminder.
Nadine,
Dress accordingly.
dress in layers.
And the following week, on the 25th, we'd meet, typically we've met here. Did we start at 9 last year, or?
I do not recall exactly, but
We were done by
I
1,
usually
1:30.
like to start a little bit later,
Mhm.
yeah.
So,
Jesse's
yeah.
not a morning.
I'm not a
No,
morning
no,
person.
I'm not either.
So we
I'm
were-
not either. 9 is perfect.
9 works better for kids' school drop-off too, just.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
point, thank you.
All right.
And then, yeah, we
We'll go
anticipate, 9 to plan on 4 or 5 o'clock on the 25th, with the goal to be done by 1:32.
Yeah,
So we're looking at September 18th and September 25th. Is that right?
that is correct.
Okay.
Those are the two. And then we do have our October meeting that week after where we finalize the document that I write up. It is a little bit of a thing, but I don't know that we need to meet in September.
And then our goal would be to have our final numbers to Jesse
September.
by the Monday after the Q&A, which is the 22nd?
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday would be great.
Yeah.
so that I can actually get the data together.
Sorry to go backwards, but Naomi, if you have questions you want us to ask
Yes.
during
Thank you.
the Q&A, please
Okay.
let us know and we can,
Yeah, thank you.
we can make sure they get asked.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. And we have 1 minute left. We can go longer, but do like to be respectful of everyone's time. Do we have anything else we need to discuss? Jesse?
Can I just get an approval on this?
Oh, yes, sorry, Jesse.
It's okay. I just wanted to move forward.
Yeah, we got a motion to approve the activation grant opportunity format and questionnaire. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Did we approve minutes?
We did, yes.
Thank you all. Thank you, Allison and Nadine, you got your books.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, friends.
Bye.
Bye. I'm sorry, Jesse.
That's okay.
Well, thank you for the pickles.
Thank you all. Thank you.
I like your discipline.
Yeah, no.
Oh, please feel free to take a snack for the road.
I'm taking a cookie with
Yeah.
Betty on it.
Oh,
Because brownies are good.
The what's?
the brownies?
Oh, good.